right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Canlis Community College. My name is Mark Canlis. I'm here tonight with my parents. Hello, that's my dad, Chris, and this is my mom,
Alice.
Mom.
Alice. She's my
we call her
Alice.
And you've caught us here. Good evening and welcome. Just cleaning up a few things because we've been practicing as a family. Here's the thing. Tonight, we aim to set to rest how to make a Canlis salad.
Yes.
And you'd think we have it figured out. And we do, except that it's a very old recipe, and I make the best version in the family. Was that a fair?
No.
Do you think that's a fair statement?
I think that's a challenge laid down.
That's
to
why
Dad.
I'm the brother that actually just on air would be great.
No,
if
but
you could
we've
actually
eaten
say,
more of them, so we qualify.
You have eaten more.
Lots more.
Mom, when did you? So for those out there, a bunch of people tonight are watching it. We've sent them the kit of all these ingredients ahead of time.
All these good
a bunch of people watching have not. And probably a bunch of watching people that don't have any idea who we are. Can you give us a little history when you say you've eaten a lot of Canlis salads? When does your Canlis salad eating history begin? Take us to the year.
Yeah, it was the year I married your dad. And I met Peter Canlis for the first time, and it was a Canlis salad. So we're going to be married now.
50 years in
50
April.
years.
Wait, what do you mean? And it was the Canlis salad. So you meet Dad. He brings you home to the parents, and they cook a Canlis salad for you. Do you remember your first Canlis salad?
Yes, in Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Did Peter make it tableside for you?
No.
Were you impressed, or were you like, oh look where I come from, a little more pepper?
No, I was impressed, but I was really,
you were not paying attention
him.
to the salad. You were more paying attention to Dad, and obviously. Yeah, who wouldn't be? So hold on a second. So let me just take it there. So the year is 1977.
70.
70 when she would, yes, but I was
70.
gonna,
Oh, okay. Now I'm moving ahead.
So are we ready for that? Ready? Okay.
We're ready.
6-year fast forward.
We're going to fast forward. Peter Canlis gets sick.
Yes.
Our family moves here from wherever we lived,
right,
Palo
but Brian
Alto.
was not born yet.
We call these the happy years.
Yes.
Is this recording? Are we live yet? No, my little brother, who I run the company with, thank you, Brian, is going to be joining us on the chat. And just momentarily, he's going to be joining us. He's got his arms full with a bunch of small children and a car that just broke in, got broken into. Welcome to Real Live Community College. I want to fast forward to 1977.
Welcome.
We move here.
From California.
I'm 3.
Right.
I remember walking in as a little kid and just seeing the fireplace is all I remember.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me from that perspective what I was missing. What do you remember from when your dad got sick? He asks you to sort of run the company and what happened?
Yeah, so we came up here as a trial. We prayed about it. We made a list of pros and cons and still couldn't quite figure it out.
Yeah.
So we said, well, let's go. He's sick. We'll see what happens. And we stayed. He did. He died in July. We came up here in November of 76. He died in July of 77.
Yes.
And a lot of people credit him for all the food. Is that a fair retelling of history? I know over my shoulder here before lightning strikes me, could you just set the record straight as we, and folks, while we're doing this, if you haven't gotten all your ingredients out, we've sent a shopping list out. If you got a kit, we made as many of those as we could. I'm sorry if we couldn't get through the whole wait list, but go ahead and pull all those ingredients out. My parents have already done a little work ahead of time, so we're ahead of you. So we're going to tell some history, and then allow you to sort of get your mise en place, get all the things in place to make the salad. But tell me, can we just? Was it Sito's recipe or was it Peter Canlis' recipe?
Sito really was the one who introduced. I'm from the South, so I didn't know a lot of these things because we grew up on a farm and olive oil, corn oil maybe, but not olive oil. So in marrying your dad, this Greek heritage and Lebanese, because Sito was from Lebanon.
And we got a painting of her.
Do we have a picture of her?
Camera over there that can take? Well, I'm going to bring her over. I'm just going to
bring Sito over.
I'm going to grab her.
Yeah.
So this is
we leave
Peter
her here in the
Canlis'
kitchen. Hold on a second.
Peter Canlis' mother.
I'm just going to stand here and hold this the entire time. Or Jordan, am I pointing this at you? Check this out. All right, we're going to get a good close up on Sito. We spilled a little butter on her painting earlier in the year.
She taught us about olive oil and mint, and her own son, mint and oregano, and the salad that she made for us was very much similar Well, actually, it wasn't. It really was the lettuce with the goat cheese and the olive oil and the oregano and the mint. And
But she and her husband, so they come over in 1910 and they open a restaurant in Stockton, California.
Yep.
A name named
The Seafood Palace.
The Fish Grotto and the Seafood.
Fish
Fish
Grotto
Grotto.
and
Is that right, Brian? Fish Grotto and Seafood Palace. Is that what we?
That sounds right.
It's a name we happily leave in the past.
Yeah.
We just shortened that to Canlis
We
later.
might bring it back.
You think so? Like a little speakeasy, a Fish Palace, something or other. But
Oh.
and then Peter Canlis. So your dad, my grandfather, he grows up kind of as a child in this restaurant. Is that where the Canlis salad gets its? Do we think that this was Sito's sort of influence?
oh, definitely with the mint and the oregano, for sure. But how
Olive
he
oil,
went.
lemon, all of that
Right.
stuff is coming
But
deeply
then we
out
moved
of.
to the lemons and we moved to the romaine.
And so maybe it was just a combination. I think the point is, we're supposed to be the experts on this one, and here's the interesting thing about history, even when it's your own family's history, you don't always quite know where
No.
it came from. And even though Peter got a lot of the credit, we kind of think that Sito, a woman who I remember as a kid, always in the kitchen, you obviously remember that.
Yeah.
You know, I think in our own family, some of these stories or the origin stories are lost or they're changed over the years, and it's been sort of our great pleasure to sort of discover that over time. People, I saw that you brought some of these in because people will mail us matchbooks or menus or these pieces of paraphernalia that come from a time long before, and it's always such a gift for us to sort of, whether it's spending time with you and Mom, whether it's going through the old photos or getting guests to sort of tell us these stories. It's like a repiecing, putting together the puzzle a little bit. And so
Yeah.
tonight we want to share with you our favorite
Let's get
family
cooking.
recipe. And I essentially bow out at this stage because I think you guys know what you're doing.
Well, are you going to serve us a little wee wine?
Oh, and I'm the wine guy tonight.
You did
yeah,
that
so
at the other
Nelson.
classes.
Hold on a second. Yes.
So we're gonna thank you, son.
Yeah. Yeah, let me open some.
We're just gonna first of all kind of set the scene a little bit. I don't know if everybody knows where we are. This is the Canlis kitchen, and we are in the pantry where I stood and worked as a 14-year-old. It wasn't quite like this, but it was right here. And
You were 14?
yeah,
Your first job here?
yeah, I think that's about right.
That's sooner than you started us.
We didn't hire Brian until he was 19, so he was, you know.
Well, he was running around, of course.
I started when I was
He going to
13.
different
I don't know if
schools,
that's
but
like a thing.
anyway, go ahead, honey. What? Wait a minute.
Are they allowed to ask questions and throw me off my game?
they're definitely asking questions. There's probably in the chat. There's gonna be a lot of things going on
Okay,
there.
so what were you talking about?
You were 14.
there we
It's
were.
14. Anyway, this is
The
this
year is
where
1930.
This is where the salads were made. I was, I don't know what year that would have been. Probably I was 1958, 1960. I was 14. Okay, so we're in the Canlis kitchen, and we've got cameras, and we've got grandchildren, and we have sons, and we have everything that a family
It's a preview of heaven.
could long for. It's exactly right.
Yeah,
A preview of
it's
heaven.
true. It is.
Okay, so
Okay.
now let's don't do the bacon quite yet.
Well, I was going to do the bacon while you cut the romaine.
Great. So
Okay.
make sure.
This one's
Right.
for
You have all these ingredients already.
Yeah, make sure
I was
you
on
have
your shopping
everything.
list, and there should be all there in front of you.
Mint and oregano, fresh oregano, scallions
Green
or green
onions,
onions,
tomatoes,
whatever you
cheese.
want. Bacon, etc.
And
Lots of
those
garlic.
who have a kid already has the bacon rendered and fried. But one of the things I learned from Sito,
Okay.
because I didn't know this, is she said take bacon and take your bacon, cut off whatever fat you want. If you want it lean, if you want the fat, keep it in there. But let it be a little frozen and just cut it in little cubes, however you want, for the Canlis salad or for the
So
what
Mom,
she was
just
teaching
so
me
I
at the
heard you right.
time.
Sometimes it's hard to cut bacon when it's really soft. So if you throw it in
Yeah.
the freezer a little bit and it gets hard, it
Makes
just
it easier.
Yeah, especially if your knife isn't just ripping sharp, it makes it easier to
Right.
cut it.
For those at home with the kit, it's already been done.
We did this for you.
Yeah,
we-
it's
we
all
did.
done for you
Right.
already.
There's
But
the-
just in case,
But if your bacon at home has been sitting in the fridge, be sure it's out. Sometimes we actually zap it a few seconds because you don't want to put cold bacon into a salad. Okay,
Right.
so the next thing is
oh, but you know, one of the things that's really kind of interesting is if you put water in the pan
Scoot.
and do your bacon, then as the water boils your bacon, it's much more easier to fry. So,
Okay, let me chat about romaine a little
all
bit.
right, chat.
Okay, so romaine. Why romaine?
Well, so now if you're joining us, pull out the romaine. We're going to walk you through how to break down a romaine in 1-inch squares, right? So we'll cook the bacon for you, but you're going to need this. You're going to need to kind of pull this out.
And these have been cleaned up so they're not as big and voluminous as you might normally think. But what we always do is we take the end and cut it off. You can see that lets this milk, which is kind of a bitter, come out. And
Can we show them that? Yeah, well, I was just think this is kind of cool. So I did this with my kids who just sort of showed up in the studio. Let's see if we can get. I don't see this one doing it a whole lot, but sometimes.
Right
yeah, there you go. Can you zoom in on that? How close does that camera get? So what happens is, I want you to do this. You take this little milky stuff.
Taste
it is crazy bitter.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, we'd cut these ends off, let that ooze out.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're gonna have sweeter lettuce.
And to get it, if you just start cutting it across, you're gonna get long, stringy ones. So what I was always taught to do is you cut through it and maybe turn it over and cut through it again. And then when you do your 1-inch, so it kind of looks like that, and it'll end up in nice squares. Now, I didn't cut all the way to here.
Why not? Why are you not?
My knife wasn't that long,
Okay.
and I didn't want to chop off my finger right here in front of God and everybody. So it's pretty good. I mean, you can see
that some romaine, we sent some kind of cleaned up romaine, some sort of Canlis-sized romaine, but some romaine, especially if you're getting it from a farmer's market, is not going to look as tame as this does.
Yeah.
It's going to be like.
But that's fine.
And would you recommend they use the entire thing, or?
Well, you want as much of the green as you can keep, because that's where all the nutrition is. That's the vitamin A and C and what is that M? It'll come to me. But then we wash it. We always put it in warm water and then moved it around and then took it out and set it like this and let it drain. And then you put it in the fridge, usually overnight, to crisp it up.
But 4 hours will also do it.
Or 4 hours.
Right.
You can also use the
key is
famous
to-
salad spinner if you want to get the water
Right.
off.
We
you
want to
do
make
that?
sure it's the lettuce
One more time.
is dry
Okay.
when you bring it out, so it's crisp.
So I'm going to do. Mark wants me to.
Just for those that are watching.
I forgot to say that there's an anecdotal story about the fact that at Canlis we somehow take garlic and rub it around the inside.
Hold on. I thought you pour a little oil into the garlic.
Well, you could do that.
Okay, you taught me how to do this.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
So this is the guy who said he was not going to say another word.
I didn't say anything. I'm here.
saying.
I'm only here to help.
But I'm happy to have the help because clearly I need the help.
So you're sort of seasoning the bowl.
Yeah.
And sometimes, this is like with martinis, people just rinse the outside with vermouth, right? So if you're into garlic,
let's watch this again. So
maybe
I'm cutting
just take
now
a little bit and put it on the bowl.
in 2 places, and then turn it. These heads of romaine are actually fairly small. As Mark said, they're sort of tame. Okay, and I'm going to make this group a little bit bigger.
So the idea here, and this is really important, you're trying to get bite-sized pieces of lettuce, and this is a salad that has a lot going on. If you think of the friendly nature of the salad, you sit in a restaurant sometimes and you go in and you pull out half a head, and then suddenly it's like. So this is a lot. We're going to put a lot of ingredients in this thing, and what we're wanting is for a fork to go in and grab everything at once. That's like the secret sauce. So we start by putting the lettuce the right size so that you can get a couple of pieces with 1 fork bite, and also stick it in your mouth without looking,
Sure.
like a first time.
Okay, and then
novice
you've got cherry tomatoes. When I was a kid, we didn't have cherry tomatoes.
I've finished with the bacon, honey.
Nice
and,
work.
And we're just put it on a paper towel and drain it.
Do you want to?
So this is
No, you
worth
can
mentioning. A
start.
lot of people have said, have you changed the recipe over time? We're going to walk you through the changes that have been made. You can count them on half of one hand. So one of the changes, as Dad just mentioned, was the tomato. What did you use, Dad, when you were a kid? Here, Mom. Here,
We
Mom.
used beefsteak tomatoes. We used to drop them into a thing of boiling water so that you could peel them, and then you cut them up into little pieces. And it wasn't nearly as pretty, not nearly as tasty. This is a whole tomato in a bite, and I just love cherry tomatoes. But it also provides a little color. There's not a lot of color.
You also couldn't get an heirloom cherry tomato in 1950 as easily as you could today. So here you can get just like a packet of awesome flavor, little tiny tomato, as opposed to having to skin the tomatoes
I'll finish
and
those.
then and throw them in the salad.
Okay. So Alice is going to do a few more of those. Call them scallions, call them green onions, call them anything you'd like. And honest people disagree on how much of the white to use. In our family at home, we use all the white because I love onions.
Oh, I love onions.
So if you're into onion, you're saying
leave the white in there
because it's stronger onion flavor. And if you're on a date, maybe just stay into the green zone more.
And just cut them.
It's not even that strong.
They don't have to be super thin like the chefs. If they were doing it, each of these little cuts would be half as thick as mine is. And yes, chefs cut their fingers. That's how they get to be chefs.
So now there's a little bit. You have a slight advantage because there are two of you cooking at once, and at home, there's probably
These
just
people
one
might
person.
be getting falling behind.
So
But you know what, honey? Mark, they can ask their friends to help them too.
They're gonna have to what, Mom?
They can ask their friends that are watching.
They can ask their
them.
friends. I'm just wondering if is this? Can I? Do you mind while you're doing that? Can I talk about one of the wines? So
Please do.
We sent 3 wines home with you, and a newsflash: I'm not a sommelier, but I play one on television. I'm going to walk you through a couple of wines. These are some favorites of ours that are going to go well with a little dinner tonight. And so, if you can open all 3, if you have 3 glasses, pour them all out. It's kind of fun to do a side-by-side comparison and to taste them in that way, and it's kind of an unusual opportunity to get to taste through 3 whites. So focusing on white wine today, all of these come from Washington State, and the first one I'm drinking is the Beauty. It's pronounced Beauty. Nina has been making wine out there for, I don't know, like 20 years now. I don't know when we first met her, but
really good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so here's the deal with this wine. You can find here it is. You can find this in a grocery store. It is totally reasonably priced. They're one of our favorite winemakers, and here's why we dig it for this. It's got a lot of Sauvignon Blanc in it. And so Sauvignon Blanc, traditionally a grape that provides a lot of acidity. It's going to give you some cool, crisp fruit notes. It's going to give you this sort of like bracing thing, and that acidity is needed with a wine like this. Anytime you're having a dish with a lot of fat in it, and this dish is going to come from, the fat's going to come from the cheese, the fat's going to come from the bacon. Pro tip, when you're cooking your bacon, don't go all the way crisp. My son likes to cook bacon to the point where it just would shatter if you looked at it with an unhappy face. Some of us like it a little more on the floppy, flaccid side, but if you want to leave a little bacon, a little fat on the bacon, it's going to help the salad because there's a lot of lemon juice in here, and those things got to be in balance. And so, anyway, so this is a cool blend. So we're looking at Semillon, Sauvignon, Sauvignon Blanc, and then Muscadel is so classic grapes out of the Bordeaux region of France. And it just pairs really easily with a salad. It's also a great wine just to begin the night with. It's easygoing. It is a crowd pleaser. We drink this at home all the time, and it's that like go-to wine where you're like, hey, you just want some. It just makes everybody happy. So that is the first one.
Okay.
Nice work, son.
Can I hand it back over to you?
Well,
and now back to you, Dad.
And you know, sometimes, Mark, some people don't put bacon in the Canlis salad, and that's okay.
You don't have to put bacon.
It's just
in the
whatever
Canlis salad.
bacon.
You don't have to put croutons. If you're doing no gluten, stay away from croutons. If you're vegetarian, obviously stay away from bacon. The salad is fairly forgiving. We are all bacon fans over here. At the restaurant, we actually get a chance to smoke our own bacon, which is kind of fun. We've got a big old smoker out there.
How much green onion is going in, and how much mint is going in, and how much?
Okay. On their recipe cards, if they have.
But there are many people that don't have the recipe card.
So for those that don't have the recipe card,
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's tell them because that's really important.
And all 3 of us are going to disagree on this answer. This is going to be really fun. Hold on, I'm
I
having
like
bread
more
show
mint.
flashbacks. We promise
He
not
likes
to give you
more
11
oregano.
bread recipes right now. I take responsibility for that one, my bad. We're going to give you 1 recipe on this one, but just know there's a lot of flexibility in this salad. There is a ton of it. And so if you like green onion, which the three of us do,
half a cup.
Half a cup.
half a cup of green onion.
All right.
Okay.
And mint.
And the mint, which isn't
really
quite
like
done
mint.
yet.
Ooh, I gotta
wish you
finish.
were standing where I am, because it's one thing to watch somebody do mint. It's somebody else to be doing it and having it just
And Dad, how fine a chop on
not
that mint?
not super fine.
Let's just show this off a little bit. So
Again,
you know,
it
you
can
don't. This
be-
isn't a julienne contest. You don't have to sit there and like.
No.
It's not the point, right?
Some people tear
And the
it.
same with the oregano.
Same with
Like
the
a rough,
oregano. So
easy
what
chop.
you see Mom picking oregano off the stem. You're gonna want to leave that out for sure. You could put that in whole.
Well,
Vis-a-vis
I
the New
don't-
York Times article,
I don't-
did it whole for the
I
photo
know.
shoot. They also did the bacon whole, which we thought was kind of weird. Love the New York Times, but also what we would do is probably just put a few slices through that oregano and chop it up a little bit. So, Mom, do you wanna show them how you like
I
it?
don't like to eat stems that much, so
no,
I
no.
like to take
What does
it
it
off.
say about the mint?
No. Nobody likes the stems, but I would take a
Well,
knife
if
through
New
that
York
oregano a
Times
few
says
times.
put it in, put the
It
stems
says
in.
3/4 of a cup of mint. That is a load of mint, folks. That's
Well, but
that's more
I
than
don't-
I've got, and it's more than I'm going to put or need. For me,
Dad, well, hold
it's
on. a
about this amount of mint.
One handful.
Okay, but
Okay.
I'm gonna have more to add
second. Later.
later
Yeah,
on.
later.
And can you add too much mint?
No.
Can you
No.
add not enough mint?
Yes.
Yes.
Should we say this one more time? You cannot add too much mint. We have done experiments in the restaurant. We make this table aside for you. That means on any given night, there's 20 or 30 people out there making.
Okay, right
you
now.
really can't screw up the mint unless you don't put
You
enough
should do
in.
the cheese
And
and
so,
the bacon and measure.
if you're gonna err on the mint side, err over.
3/4 cup.
On the oregano, the reason that we put a chop on the oregano is that it's if for some reason you get a bite of the salad and you just happen to get a couple of leaves and that's just sitting on your tongue, it's more than you want. It's kind of a bit of a herb affront. And so I just find
herb affront.
which into one word is amazing, herbifront. But I just find that it's gonna get dispersed through the salad a little bit better if we chop it up.
And so we've chopped it up, and so here's some oregano. And again, when I was a kid, we did not use fresh oregano. Did you already say that?
We didn't use fresh oregano, and I'll be honest.
You don't need
I
to.
love the flavor of dried oregano in a Canlis salad.
Yeah.
I
Sito
actually make
always
it with
use dried
both at
oregano.
home.
You get the dried oregano, you put some in your hands, you just do this, and you do
Fresh mint must be fresh.
Yeah.
Yes.
No replacement for the mint that you do that with, the dried
Right.
stuff.
Now the
No,
egg.
just get the fresh. It grows like a weed in this state, so just like.
You need
Does
to
it
put-
matter which
you're putting in
variety of
cheese
mint?
and bacon.
You know,
Not yet.
at one
We'll toss
point,
it later.
we had a chef line up like
Okay.
18 varieties of mint. It kind of doesn't. There's a chocolate variety of mint that I think is really weird in a Canlis salad, so I wouldn't go that far. But basically, like mint.
I'm
Here we
going to
go.
coddled egg now.
Oh wow. Okay, hold
Here's
on
a
a second.
room temperature egg. I'm going to start making the dressing, just watching the time. So all we're doing here is taking some boiling water and pouring it on top
They can
of.
get on that.
Yeah, just pouring it on top of the egg, and it'll sit there for a minute. That doesn't cook the egg, but it raises the temperature of it, and it
Honey, why is it called a coddle egg?
because you just
Coddle it.
yeah, those are cuddles, honey. That's
Isn't
different.
that a cuddled egg, Mom?
It's a coddled egg,
So
but it kind of takes for the squeamish who don't like anything raw. It makes it a little less raw. How's
But
that?
you
So
can use a
most of the
pasteurized
stuff
egg.
that you're scared about in raw egg is on the outside of the shell. I have chickens. I can attest to it. So,
No, but it can go inside.
by coddling egg, you're tempering it. You're typically bringing it out of a fridge. If you buy your eggs commercially, it's been refrigerated. You're bringing it out of the fridge. You bring that egg up to temperature, and if there's any
Room
residual
temperature.
leftover bacteria on the
Where's it
outside,
going?
you're gonna kill it.
The what?
So that's why we coddle it.
Okay,
But you can get pasteurized eggs.
for the dressing, okay, I'm going to do it as a 1/4 cup of olive oil. I think that's what it said, or does it say a half?
Uh-huh.
It says
A half cup of
a
olive
half
oil.
a cup of olive oil.
You're gonna go per recipe. It's
yeah,
a 2 to 1.
I'm just gonna show it. It's not 2
Okay.
to 1.
All right. You don't do
So I'm gonna do this. Can you talk about this olive oil while I'm
Oh,
doing it?
yes, less.
So, let's see.
There is a
Brian.
family.
We
that
have
came-
a picture I think that would be worth getting. I think it's in the executive room right now. We have been using Napoleon olive oil for a long time. In fact, since 1950. This is the
Right here.
the Mignano family runs
Should I
this
hold
company.
this?
They
There?
are here in Seattle.
Yeah,
They
he's
bring
got
this
it.
stuff in from Italy, obviously. And I kind of have a funny story about this. The Canlis salad has a million recipes out there. So if you Google it, you're going to find all these various publications that have put it out there. And there are also other restaurants that will serve it. And famously, you were opening a restaurant in New York with your buddy Will Guidera.
That's a true story.
And there's a famous chef
lemon
associated with
juice
this
go?
restaurant. His
Yeah.
name's Daniel Home. We can say he's like
Number
Michelin
one
three-star.
restaurant in the world
He's
for
got
a
like all these
time.
accolades. He's
Yeah.
kind of,
What do you need?
in our
Where
world,
did
sort of
the
big
lemon
deal.
juice
And
go?
didn't
So
he want to
we-
put Canlis salad on the menu?
Yeah, so I moved to New York to help open
Oh my gosh.
the Nomad Bar.
Yeah.
And on my last
Sweet.
week in New York
Lemon
City,
juice. I had it already.
Daniel Hume decided to put Canlis salad on the menu, which is like the coolest thing
Okay.
ever. But he's Daniel Hume, and so he's this very talented chef.
You are right.
And he wanted to
2-1.
only use the very best ingredients.
Like, I only
Well,
use
you-
the best
you know.
ingredient,
And so when he made the Canlis salad with his like really perfect olive oil, it tasted terribly. And I was like, Daniel, you got to use a less excited. You've got to use like a standard expression.
like straightforward.
And he kept trying recipe after recipe with other ones, and I was like, just get Napoleon. Like Napoleon.
Didn't you guys ship it? We overnighted it to you.
Yeah, you had
actually,
to send us
because you
huge
guys were
tubs.
launching the restaurant.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a Canlis salad if you don't use Napoleon.
because
It
we
just
couldn't
isn't.
make it taste right until we got
So
Napoleon.
you can
And
buy like crazy expensive olive oil. Awesome, get that and drink it. That's what that's for. But if you're making a salad dressing, same with wine sometimes. You don't cook with really like high-end fancy wines. It
what's-
doesn't help necessarily.
What's so fun in your kits tonight? So we've known the Mignano family, who owns Napoleon olive oil,
Oh yeah, like forever.
and
40
wait,
years.
oh Dad, not isn't that the good?
No.
Didn't I think the bottle? So they added bottles as gifts to all the
Yeah,
boxes.
This is a gift in your
But
box from the
but the olive
family.
oil you want to use in our dressing is the one that we gave you in the
But I
Tupperware.
don't have that here.
Oh, so at home,
Yeah, we sent everyone
the
home
one
with
in the
a little-
bottle
a
is
little
too
Tupperware.
nice of an olive oil for Canlis salad. You need to use the one in the which is a lower grade
Just
olive
worth
oil.
saying this, the Napoleon has a couple of grades. We use like their standard entry one for the salad dressing. If you want to get really nice olive oil, this would be great stuff. And Napoleon put that in there so you guys could all have it as like an awesome gift to you all. So, so definitely like dip your bread in that or just drink it. Do shots of it. It'll be good for you. But we use the straightforward stuff that we put in the Tupperware for you to do for the salad
Okay,
dressing.
so I'm gonna one more time
Go ahead.
because I'm behind on the review how to call an egg.
Sure.
One more time.
Sure.
How hot was the water? And then
Boiling water.
walk through the recipe of the dressing
Okay.
slowly one more time.
So the coddled egg, let me talk because I can't not talk. You take a room temperature egg and you pour boiling water over it and let it sit there for a minute. That's all. Then you break the egg, you put it in here, and then you take your lemon juice. How much lemon juice? Since we're talking about measuring,
1/4 of a cup.
a 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice, and I beat it quite a bit. No oil yet. Then, when all of that is well beaten, then you start adding the oil. How much oil? A 1/2 cup, twice as much. But don't pour it in there. Work it in there. And can you bring out the salad so I can taste this as I go?
So you don't really know until you taste it, right?
Well, really?
No, I mean, I just want to just put it right there. I just want a
Alright.
piece of romaine
You're just gonna dip it in.
because at home I would use my finger, but I'm not going to do that on
You can use your
TV.
fingers. We're just cooking for us.
Too lemony. So
Too lemony.
we're working the olive oil into the egg lemon juice mixture. There's also ground pepper. We saw that go in there. And
That looks good, honey.
why don't you taste it because
All
you're the
right.
one that's more sensitive to lemon.
Too lemony.
So it's going to turn out that we'll end up using all the oil. But again, different people have different taste buds. Alice,
Guys, it's important you know how to do this because here's the thing. If you buy pre-done lemon juice in a store, it's never as good. It's probably been
That's a lemon?
pasteurized. We gave you 2 lemons. right? And the recipe that we always do at home, we just take 2 lemons and we don't really worry about measuring. And so what we'll do is we'll squeeze everything we can out of these lemons. Sometimes if you want, you can roll them. Has the added benefit of making your hands smell amazing, and it's also gonna break the juice out of here a little bit easier. And then we'll just take the 2 lemons and squeeze them in the bowl. And then this happens, like the whole family gets involved. So then you start adding olive oil. We use a fork. You can use a whisk if you want, but for some reason in our family, we just do it with forks. And then like the whole family basically gets involved. If you're going to make a mistake, make it too lemony. The most common thing Brian and I hear in the restaurant is like, oh, my Canlis salad at home doesn't taste right. I don't think you gave us the real recipe. We did. We've been giving the real recipe since day one in 1950. The 2 most common mistakes are probably not enough lemon juice or not enough mint. Those are those 2 things in harmony is what's making this salad sort of golden. So, okay, while they're doing this, and Brian, if you have another question, let me know. I want to talk about Jeff Lindsay Thorson's wine. This is W.T. Vintner's. Which camera am I looking at? Here we go. So this is the second wine. You guys, this is Gruder Veltliner. And I can say this because I'm not a sommelier. Okay, so somms always get like, oh, what's the next best wine, you know? And like last night on the Seattle Art Museum thing, they were like, who's the next best artist? And this is a natural question to ask, but let's just be honest. All these grapes have been around since the dawn of time. So for a while, pull out this shrimp. For a while, it was really cool in the sommelier world to say Gruder Veltliner. Okay, it's this slightly esoteric wine that comes from Austria. What's cool about Gruner is that it's not easy to grow. And what's particularly about Gruner here is we can grow it in Washington State. This one comes from the Columbia Gorge, of all places, and it is super cool. It's lean, and it's strung out, and it's geeky. And if you were having friends over who are like, I'm into wine, give me something new, you'd be like, cool, bro. Here's a local Gruder Veltliner. It's gonna go with like pretty much this meal really easily. It's gonna be high acid and easy drinking and just sort of high-ish acid, I should say. And you guys are drinking the beauty, so do you want me to pour you a glass of this right now?
Well,
no, you're gonna stay.
No, not yet, but we better start on the shrimp.
Okay.
Okay.
So just so I know you're feeling pressed for time, but we have plenty of time. So
We're still working on salad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's
so we
wonderful.
just to understand about this salad. We're just setting it aside, and we're going to toss it later. So that's the only reason we didn't quite finish it, because we thought it would be fun to eat it with the shrimp.
The prep time takes a lot of time. It truly does. But once you have all the prep and we pull it together, it takes just a few.
Yeah.
5 or
Well,
10
I just want to
minutes.
go over. We're having a lot of egg coddling challenges still.
Oh.
So you keep the egg whole. You don't crack it.
Yeah, so
you just pour boiling water over it.
So we took an egg. I'm gonna do it again, actually,
Good
for
idea.
you. Here we go. I'm gonna coddle an egg, real time, with the magic of TV. This water is boiling, but it used to be when we did this. And we're gonna take the egg and we're gonna put it in a cup. There it is. This is not a magic trick. And then we're gonna take the boiling water, which is no longer boiling but should be boiling, and we're gonna pour it over the egg.
To
and
cover.
Dad is gonna count to 45 seconds.
There's a clock
Or
up
60.
there. So.
Or 60.
It's 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm in.
Or 1 minute. Don't cook the egg, because we want it to be raw when it goes into the dressing. But literally, that's the whole thing. We are currently coddling an egg. The
And
three
then-
of us are actively coddling an
and
egg
then when
right
it
now.
goes in the dressing, you break out. You put the whole egg in.
Yes, so then what
Yes.
we did was we took it out with a spoon so we didn't burn our little kitchen soft fingers after 60 seconds. Pretend that it has been 60 seconds, because it hasn't been. We took the egg out. My father breaks it into the bowl. And there's really only 3 ingredients in this dressing: a coddled egg, fresh lemon juice,
And olive oil.
and olive oil.
With a little pepper.
We might have rushed through that earlier.
Okay, is that? Are you guys catching up now? Okay, over there.
So,
Yeah,
Dad-
there's,
All right.
there's no rush.
Okay,
Just
no
keep
rush.
it nice and easy.
All right.
Okay.
Now we are going to switch to the shrimp.
Okay, so Canlis, well, hold on a second. While they're getting,
but
while
they're
they're
so
grabbing,
big that we call
while
them
they're
prawns.
grabbing all their things, can I
Yes.
take a moment? I want to show something off
All
here.
right. Okay.
Guys, if you're working on your salads, don't worry. We're going to come back to that salad. It's going to be awesome. Canlis prawns was maybe the dish that we were most scared of to remove from the menu. Brian and I have been running the restaurant since 2003, and this was the most revered of all the 1950 classics. And There's only one reason we did it, which is these days it's very hard to get really well-sourced shrimp year-round. So when we can get them, we bring them in. Our favorite are spot prawns or coon stripe or anything coming out of Puget Sound. Sometimes we'll pull them from Alaska. In the old days, we were not as aware of sourcing seafood as well as we are today, is the honest truth about our company. And so in an effort to source better, we took them off the menu until we could get them. But speaking of old menus, can you guys walk me through this one? Because I feel like, I know your hands are kind of clean. Okay, so this is one of the few that we have.
This is a one of a kind. This is actually the opening night menu, December 11th, 1950, of this restaurant. And I mean, Dad had, look at this, he's got copper on the menu because we have copper.
It's like copper foiled paper.
Foiled paper.
Yeah.
And copper ink on him. I mean, he was.
He went all out for that.
And he wrote, this is my dad's writing. It says, aloha, thanks for coming. So this was the opening night menu. The Canlis salad was on here. Canlis' special salad, $2. However, that's for two people.
Yeah.
So
It was
it's a
considered very
buck a
expensive.
piece, and everybody thought he was crazy. You're charging for salad? But this was
Well,
an
a
a
la
la carte
carte
menu,
was yeah.
which was new. People were used to eating in hotels, and everything came with the $3.95 or whatever. But anyway, and then the other one that we have, it says wine list coming soon. This one actually had the wine list. I don't know if they reprinted this or
Yeah, and
whatnot.
I think that was a redo. But one of my favorite things of this old menu, and we love getting these things. The reason it said Aloha was that Peter had left the family restaurant, the aforementioned Fish Grotto and Seafood Palace. He'd moved to Hawaii. Pearl Harbor happens, and he ends up in the restaurant business kind of right after the war. And so he had come from Hawaii to Seattle in 1950 to open this thing. But the price of this is just amazing. The price
New York
of a
steak?
sirloin steak is $3.85. But a filet mignon, which is more expensive back then, it's interesting, was $4.25. So I just think that we should go back to those prices. For the record, I said that, and if we don't, it's because my brother Brian vetoed that. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, but remember the night, well, like was on our birthday, when Canlis celebrates a birthday, sometimes she'll deliver a menu, one of the original menus, and it's always a delight to
It's kind
see
of fun.
if you
It's kind of fun to show.
Okay.
happen to get it.
Okay.
Are
So
you ready for shrimp?
let's
Yes.
do this. These
Okay.
are the Canlis prawns.
This is Canlis prawns. The prawn is a shrimp. It's just a bigger one, is one way to think of it. It's all a matter of semantics. You've all been given in your kit, or if you went out and bought, my accountant today wrote me and said, I've gone out and bought everything. You've been given shrimp. These shrimp have, and that's in your kit also, have been cleaned, which means they cut it along here and took out what they
One of the
call the
veins.
vein, but it's actually the intestine along there. And they've been shelled all the way down to the tail. We leave the tail on so you have something to grasp.
Or the feet.
Okay,
Whatever you
these
wanna
are
call
not
them.
quite butterflied enough for me, and I'll explain. Alice is heating up some olive oil.
So you take about a tablespoon. What we're going to do, you have, I think, 12 shrimps
Can you
in your
butterfly?
box, but we're going to do
We're
6
just
at
going
a
to do
time.
6.
For
Why
the
are we
feet.
just doing 6 at a
Well,
time?
because we're not really cooking on a big stove with a big skillet.
And also, it's hard to do 12 in a frying pan. It's hard to keep track of
Yeah.
them. It's hard
And you can
to.
goof it up. So we would recommend,
Yeah.
because we've been practicing this dish, all week.
And last night
we would
we
recommend
cooked all
doing
kinds
6,
of
and
it.
then you can try it on a second round in your second 6.
You want to put these in?
Not yet.
Oh, it's not hot.
So we want to heat your skillet up to when it's almost where you can see a slight smoke.
Well, so hold on.
So we're
so they're
heating.
just right now. They're just still butterflying their prawns.
Not
We're
cutting
gonna-
it all the way
but it
through.
takes a little time to heat up.
You don't want to do what I did on this one, is cut it all the way through. You want to do what I did on this one, which is just to open it up within a hair's breadth of putting. And the reason is we're going to put this in with most of the meat is here in the front. We're going to put that down on the frying pan and hold the tail up there and let it cook. And once it's smoking, and so once it's cooking, then it's about a minute it's about 1 to 2 minutes on a side, but we're going to do it visually. So
Wait, so can we do 2 rounds here? Because
Yeah,
some
we're
of them
gonna
might
do
be.
2 rounds.
Okay, cool. So some of them might. So we're going to show you. I know you're probably still butterflying your prawns there, but Mom's got the oil pretty ripping hot. And depending on the size of your pan, might depend on how much oil. You want to have it really well coated. So if you're using a big pan, go ahead and put some extra oil in there. Don't worry about it. We're actually gonna dump that extra oil later, so you're not gonna mess it up if you have too much oil. If you don't have enough, it might stick to the pan.
That's fine.
And we don't use non-stick pans here, so.
Your pan might be warped, so you got to put the oil on.
Yeah, our pan actually a little warped this evening, which is, but that's just real life. So we're just taking these butterflied prawns and we're setting them in the hot oil, and you want that oil moving. You want it hot. It should either be licking smoke off of it to know, or you can just flick a little bit of water and that'll evaporate and turn to steam right away. So,
Quick story about the vermouth while that's cooking. This
These
is
are only going to cook about 1 to 2 minutes. So yeah,
on
make
the
it
side.
a quick story.
On the side.
Yeah.
This is Norley Prat French dry vermouth. When the restaurant first opened, Dad only used this vermouth, and there was a big article about Peter Canlis cooking with vermouth. Vermouth, fortified wine. This became such a famous recipe that on the inside of the label, you used to be able to look through the bottle. There was not this stuff. Our recipe was printed on the Norley Prat back label. So I went out today and just bought this bottle because I wanted to be sure we used something that was historically...
Fun fact, we've never been able to track down one of these bottles. We know they exist.
We'd love to
If
find
anyone finds one or can bring us one, free dinner for 2.
Okay.
Wow.
We've been
that's
dying to
great.
get that bottle.
Yeah. Whatever happened to our wooden spatula idea?
Well,
Yeah.
Up here.
Oh, can you see?
Down in the pooch again?
Hey, Dad,
so golden brown, and we want to get ready for the other stuff.
why are you not using a non-stick pan?
Beats me. I don't think they use them here. We use them out.
Because this
We
is
use
an
them at
induction
home.
burner.
Well, they make them for that, but we
Yeah.
didn't have one. You
Okay.
can use non-stick at home.
It's because the chef sabotaged us with this pan. I don't know. But
I don't know, but you're gonna.
but can you
We're
see?
ready.
Can you see?
Yes, they
this?
can see. They
All
can
right.
see.
Okay. Well, turn
Okay.
the
Get
turn the
ready,
heat down.
honey.
Okay. We're throwing in some
Well,
garlic.
not quite yet. Not quite yet.
How much? I don't
Oh,
know.
not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Oh,
Hold on.
I thought we were throwing in some garlic.
One
we're
thing
gonna-
for sure, if you're doing this, you're going to smell
here's
like
your little
garlic
spatula.
and shrimp when
Here,
you're done.
if you need this. Oh yeah, you definitely smell.
Okay, I think we're there, honey.
Okay, so we're gonna put in some garlic.
Garlic. You know, garlic is called. Garlic is called the ketchup of the intellectual. So I make sure our children had lots of it growing up, and my grandchildren.
Salt, pepper, not so necessary. Timing is more important.
Oh,
2 tablespoons of Norley Prat dry vermouth. I've never measured this in my life. I always just pour it in. But for you, special people, we're going to measure it. Okay. And then, are you going to turn it down a little bit? Okay.
So much
It's
fun.
okay. It's okay. We're having fun.
We've
Okay.
never done this here.
And then, so that's just,
Wait a minute. Let's see how it looks.
You're-
Hey, where's our salt? Oh, we need the butter.
the butter's coming now.
Oh, good.
But you need to take it off the pan. So then you have these 2 tablespoons of butter, previously cut up into little chunks. Put it back down and all we're doing now
Hot enough.
is mixing the vermouth and the butter and making a sauce, essentially.
I think the vermouth kind of evaporated away.
I think
No,
you're
they're
right.
looking good. They're looking good.
It was maybe a little hot.
But I can smell the wonderful garlic.
Dad,
Okay.
why don't you assure the audience who's desperately trying to follow along that once we do one round, we'll talk about it again slowly.
And we're going to do another round slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't that smell good?
Where's my towel?
That really smells
It
great.
smells amazing.
I know.
It makes me very aware that we're not cooking with the hood above us. So maybe at home,
Fire department.
you're
wants-
gonna. Yeah, it's the sprinklers turn on here momentarily. At home, you definitely want to turn your hood on if you've got one. So, Mom, yeah, there you go. Awesome. All right. And so, depending on how much oil you use, before you pour them off, you may want to drain the oil off. In this case, Mom kind of nailed it perfectly, so that worked. But can we do a second round of these? Can we show them one more time? So,
Right.
so again, if you're working with the prawn,
This is a knife that'll cut your finger off if you
Yeah.
slip with it. So I'll let I'll let Mark handle that knife.
Just, you can do this with any knife. You can use a pocket knife. You can use a French knife, a chef's knife if you want. But essentially, what you're doing is you're just bringing this right along where that vein would have been, right? And you're just going to pull through, and you're going to leave this open such that you have two sides of the shrimp on either side here, and it's still connected. And it should kind of sit like this on your fingers, just splayed open like that. And what Mom did was she just laid it flesh side down on the pan. This is really important. We're using a technique that most restaurants would make fun of. It's an old school technique. It's hammering, right? So you're literally cooking it harder than you typically would. But the reason we're gonna do this, sometimes you do it with teriyaki actually, is that you get this sear on the outside, the inside stays nice and moist and not undercooked, but it's not as cooked on the inside as it is on the outside. So we actually want this sear. You can.
That will work.
John, I don't know if you're. I'm gonna put this right here, so maybe that top-down camera can get it. But I'm actually. This is really important to the dish. I really want this browning happening out here, and then on the inside, it's not gonna be cooked at all. It's gonna be medium rare.
Do you like it?
Oh, it's awesome. This is one of my favorite dishes in the world, so I'm like so happy that we're doing these right now. So anyway,
Or now you want to go slow.
You hit it.
Mom,
you
crushed
do.
it.
So okay, so we want to go slow. So we can slowly.
Even slower. Let's
I
not
mean,
do that quite yet.
we should just assure them it's a little chaotic and fast. Why don't
Yeah.
we talk it through once?
So we're gonna let's get all the ingredients out again. I'll do the prawns.
Yeah,
Great.
chopped garlic.
Right?
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna
Okay.
just pull all
So-
those ingredients out. I'll do
I'm
these
gonna
for you.
get some butter. We don't have any of that. So it's when they used to do this at the restaurant, really, it was 30 seconds. Shooting in the vermouth, throwing in the garlic, throwing in the butter, same time. They did it that way, but the sauce can break if you do that. And swishing the pan around and onto the plate and out to the table.
You kind of had to.
My
back
dad
then we were doing
was
so many covers that if you weren't jamming
So
back there.
The whole thing, start to finish, is like a minute.
yes.
Well,
Well, no. Once the shrimp is
the
cooked.
shrimp takes 1 to 2 minutes on each side.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the key. Get it cooked. But
And what's in the pan at that point?
only olive oil.
Just and any
Yes.
olive oil works.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be anything.
Yes.
Of olive oil.
Yeah.
So there's just going to be olive oil that she's going to cook the shrimp in. Slowly, no big hurry. Doesn't have to be super hot, but as Mark
Well,
said,
no, it's not true.
it's got to be hot enough
gotta be
to
hot.
sear that. So
Yes.
medium high is what you'd call that. And then when it's cooked through, and Alice says it's ready now, then I throw in the garlic, and I'm going to throw in 2 tablespoons of butter, and which I'm going to cut up so that it'll melt more quickly.
Faster, yeah.
Excuse me, not the butter yet. 2 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of Norley Pratt vermouth,
Plus, at the end, the lemon
Okay.
juice.
and
Do you
okay,
have your
did I
lemon
get
juice?
lost?
Yeah.
Oh, lemon
Did you
juice.
have your lemon juice?
Yeah, it's back over here somewhere.
We used it for the dressing. You want me to squeeze a little bit
no,
more?
I think we have some.
You guys, when you're doing a dish like this, what's really important, and
okay.
again, this is a
I'll
French
just
term,
do another
mise en place, but the idea is that you're getting everything in place. We clearly don't have our stuff in place. We're missing lemon juice. So, but this is the time you want to discover it, because when there's shrimp and burning,
honey.
you don't want to go squeeze in
Here's
lemons.
your lemon juice.
And suddenly Mom finds it. So the idea here, like literally at home, I would lay each of these ingredients out right next to my stove, because I don't want to go searching through the kitchen, jumping over kids and dogs and whatnot, like, where's the vermouth? So this is an important one. It's every professional kitchen in the world does it, but line it all up. If you want, I know this is crazy because it can be more dishes in your house, put it in little dishes. It makes me happy just to see the food out like that. Like so much of what we do is
Yeah.
we eat with our eyes. So line up all your ingredients and enjoy this process. This is like the magic part.
It's
All
just
right,
smoking.
Mom, are
It's
you
smoking.
ready? Or Dad, maybe. Do you have your mise en place, as it were?
Yes.
Okay, so just to so we have hot oil, we have our prawns, we have our salt, we have our garlic, we've got some lemon juice. Yours has a seed in it. You've got your butter, and I don't even measure this stuff. I just splash it in for the record. We all disagree. But
Yeah, I would too.
are we? And Mom would too.
Yeah, but you'd have a thingy on there.
Well, you don't need a
Otherwise, I got to
thingy.
put my thumb. No, it's okay.
All right, are we ready? Is everyone ready there? We're gonna do this
We're
another
ready.
time. Okay,
We're
cool.
ready.
Let's do
Okay.
this. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, so again, what we're doing is Canlis prawns right now. And I want you to be, well, you can't be open and wine. There's 3 of us and 1 of you. So as soon as these are done cooking, we're gonna move on to the final wine, and we don't want to rush you, but this next wine is gonna be like perfect pairing for what we're doing in the pan here. So we'll get there in a second. Mom, how long are you gonna cook those? How do you know when they're done? 1 to 2 minutes.
And see how they're doing, and you want it to be kind of golden.
You want to have that like hard edge on the outside of them.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. If you don't hear what, I don't know if you can stick your microphone down there, but like that sound, are we like gonna get splattered on?
Can they hear me?
That means it's hot enough. If you're not hearing that, crank up the fire, like get it going. Like if you're gonna make a mistake on these ones, make it too hot. You can always pull those prawns out a little bit early. So Mom's just gonna go, she's checking to see like how they're doing. You're basically cooking these things in about 90 seconds or so, if the temperature is right. All right, Dad takes a refreshment break. Mom inspecting the prawns. You're starting to get into it, Dad.
He was a little nervous.
This is like 50.
That's pretty fast for you, Dad.
It's early. It's early. Oh, speaking of, that's an incredible shirt you're wearing. I just saw that you're sporting.
Okay, so does everybody know what this is?
Yes, and everyone wants to buy one, but they're 30 years old.
We pulled this out of a drawer. This one had never been worn. There's another one in a bag over there.
This is a virgin vintage.
This is a virgin
Canlis
vintage,
salad.
and it's extra large, and I'm not an extra large.
Designed by our sister-in-law. Julie did
Yeah,
this.
it's not
Our
30
older
years.
brother's wife. No, it's easily 30
it
years
is.
It's like 20 years old.
20 years.
No, it's older. No, it's way older.
Hold on.
This is...
Todd Moore is on the chat. And
is he?
He was part of the creation of this shirt.
When was it, Todd?
We're gonna. Okay, Todd.
So anyway, here's the thing with Canlis merch. Can we just say this? Look, when it's there, it's there. When it's gone, it's gone. This was a limited edition. 1997 is the year, I think. 96 maybe.
25 years, Todd says.
All right. So where does that put us? 95, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty close. So.
Garlic's going in.
Oh, okay, we're going back to the prawns. The garlic went in.
Salt.
A lot of salt. By the way, like that's the secret basically
Lemon
to so
juice.
many recipes.
2 teaspoons.
And then 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. If you don't want to measure, just if you're behind, take a lemon and squeeze it on top.
Okay, and then
Do it. Boom. So we're gonna pour in a bunch of vermouth. It's gonna deglaze the pan a little bit. Some of that goodness that's stuck on the pan, we just released it with all that liquid. Go ahead and.
What is that kind of smoke and it's done?
Mom is in a.
it's cooking. When it's burning, it's done.
Oh.
Okay, so this is perfect. Can the camera get it? Do you see that color she's got going on?
Camera, where are you?
It's on. Let's just keep cooking. Okay.
Now we're ready for the butter.
And you should smell that. That's the magic of vermouth in the air right now. So we're burning off a little bit of that alcohol. All of us can smell it. The whole kitchen is covered in smoke right now.
It's the magic of garlic.
We're gonna keep it PG, and then
I love
We
In
have
a moment.
$100 offer for the apron for Fair Start.
For the what?
For the apron, $100.
I'd watch the apron.
Do you understand that the apron, what do you see about the apron that's different from the t-shirt?
Well, I don't know if they can see it from there, but
Those of you who can speak English.
it's clearly okay.
LCT?
They're trying to cook, you guys. They're trying to cook.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So the apron is written upside down so that you can, look down, and which frankly might have helped us earlier when we were trying to build our own salad.
So you can read it.
To Julie Canlis, who designed that, you are a godsend and a gem and a designer beyond reproach. So, okay, so here we go. Here they come. That's the way they should look. Do you see the golden color on them? The prawns are still probably a perfect medium rare, which is kind of where we like seafood anyway. The outside is hammered and has all this caramelization and color.
Okay.
Those are going to be so good.
Oh my goodness! It's 7:26.
So here's the thing.
We're fine.
We're not in a hurry.
Oh,
Okay.
but they might be.
Nope.
No,
They're loving it.
They're trying to cook dinner, and they're actually probably just
Okay.
watching TV.
Okay, so the reason why we're doing it this way is because you can cook it now, and if you have your friends there, now you're going to put the salad together because it just takes a few minutes to put the salad together now. Okay, so let's put it together.
We're gonna switch gears back to the salad. We didn't toss it
Right.
earlier. We didn't want it to get all, floppy and whatnot. Although, I'll just say this: everyone at the restaurant eats Canlis salad
the
like two
tossers?
or 3 hours old because it gets kind of mushy and good. There's something about it. Late at night, you will find this whole staff just like.
I
Anyway,
don't see ours, but let's,
so don't be scared to eat it when
Here
it's
we
a
go.
little bit, a little
So-
soggy.
Did you
Okay,
find
Mark, we're going to tell
What are you
them
looking
now.
for?
Our little tossers.
We have, honey, there they are,
Oh,
right here.
Mom's got them. Okay.
Mark,
So
you should
what we
also
have-
fill Dad's glass.
I will fill Dad's glass.
something.
Dad, Gruder Veltliner, or I'm about to
I'll finish this
switch
so
to
you can-
Chenin Blanc. I'm going to talk about the or Chenin Blanc.
Okay, now remember what we've done so far. We have lettuce in here, we have mint in here, we have oregano in here, and we have tomatoes in here. So now we're going to add the other ingredients.
Well, you already put the tomatoes in.
Yeah, they're
Uh-huh,
good.
they're in the
I don't
bottom,
put
and
the
it's good to
tomatoes
put
in
it.
until the end.
Well,
Well-
that's your weakness. I'm just saying.
No, we put the tomatoes in
Really?
because
No,
there's
yeah,
just.
yeah.
Well, it's just going to
We
be
don't
like
put the
20
croutons in
minutes.
till the end.
What?
Because
Yeah,
they get
okay.
soggy.
No,
but
and it's-
tomatoes are good. They're on the bottom.
Right, and it's the cheese you put in the end because you don't want the cheese to stick to tomatoes right. So
We'll discuss this
We're-
later.
We'll have it.
okay, so now we're going to put in the rest of the ingredients. So we're going to put in the bacon.
And
and
how
it's-
much? As much as you want.
As much as you want.
Real.
Some people want a lot of bacon, some
All the
don't.
bacon.
My granddaughter is saying, put it all in, Grandpa. I'm saying, no, not quite. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not a bacon salad. This is a Canlis salad. And this is Romano cheese. Romano cheese, it's kind of salty, it's kind of tart.
It's kind of not Parmesan. So
It's not Parmesan.
don't put Parmesan because the recipe says Romano. A lot of
Parmesan
people
is
swap
too
that out. It's like it's just not the right
soft
thing at all, and
fluffy.
it's like has a different mouthfeel. So you need the
has-
bite that Romano gives
Yeah,
you
Romano has a higher fat content,
Okay.
which
Yep.
you need to go against all
for all the acid. Yeah, so it's Romano. Go Romano.
Okay. What else are we missing?
Now we're going to be putting in the dressing, the salt and pepper. We don't really salt and pepper it till the end because the Romano cheese has that flavor. You may put it in. Well, pepper. Let's put some pepper in.
Okay, can we just talk about this? I found this
Sure.
in my house.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
buffed
our
it out for you.
Canlis,
You were
yeah.
looking for this.
When
Yeah.
I
We
was-
have one still.
When I was a kid,
it,
all of
Dad.
these
Do it.
Canlis salads were
Do it.
made tableside.
Yes.
That's what you need to understand. They were wheeled to your table. All that we just saw happen.
You know, we still do that, Dad.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not. Yeah.
We took it away for 10 years, and it's actually been back for
When
about
I
10
was a
years.
boy.
And we still do that.
We did.
When we-
Wow.
yeah,
He
I
was
forgot.
saying not in COVID times. He was,
But
yeah, he
no,
was
what I
referencing
started
the
to
fact that we're
say
not
is
really
back
restaurants. Yeah.
then on each of those little carts was one of these, a copper pepper grinder,
It's
and you
so
and you,
satisfying
you
to
turn
grind
it
this
and you
thing.
can hear it grind.
Oh man, it's like the best. And you can find these. You can find them there. It's kind of a more of a tradition in
and
France.
there
but
it is, wherever it
Here's
goes.
the thing: when you grind spices fresh, even pepper, it's just like way more aromatic and better. So, but these, if you go hunting in antique stores, especially European ones, you can get them for nothing, and they're the
Right.
best in your
and
house.
you can, sometimes you can even do a little coffee grinder, small, and do the same thing with
Yes,
pepper.
a lot of them are used for coffee.
And
Yeah,
antique
coffee
stores.
these days has kind of gone beyond pepper, though.
Okay, so
Okay.
salt and pepper, and then the dressing.
Now we're gonna.
We're gonna, like any emulsified or vinegar and oil dressing, you've got to.
Now the ones that we've not
Fire it up
added
to
yet
get it
are the
together.
croutons because we don't want the croutons to absorb all the. Here they are.
And for
the
goodness
croutons.
sake, do not pour all the dressing on. Pour half the dressing on,
Or even less. I mean, you don't.
and then toss the salad,
You can always add.
and then taste it and say, "Oh, that's
Wow.
just right," or "Oh no, there's not enough dressing," and everybody's different. I mean, who knows how much romaine we put in here? I think it.
Yeah, every head of romaine is different.
Yeah.
Every lemon is different. So when we're training servers on this, it's a little bit of a pain because every salad is different. So literally, we train for a week, and they have to make one for Brian and I. And the trick here we're doing it under the lights. Out there, we're doing it in more the dimly lit dining room. And so we're literally training to look and see what the salad feels like as you're tossing it, and what it looks like, and you can kind of spot. You can see what it's
see it.
missing.
I don't know if you can see
They
it.
can get it the top down.
But
Yeah.
it's gonna. I'm gonna put another tablespoon of dressing on there, but that's all. It's
I'm gonna put a little cheese.
and then we're
And
gonna
a little
add
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a little mint.
Yeah.
Grandma
And
always
you,
adds
Dad,
some
you
mint.
did go short on mint. I mean, I just want
We have
to.
a little more dressing.
Well, I had all. There's mint. No,
We'll
there's
do
more
that.
mint back
We'll
there.
do that, honey.
Where's my teaspoon?
All right. So while they're figuring that out, you gotta.
Tablespoon, okay.
I'm gonna talk about this final wine. This is Erica Orr's Chenin Blanc. She is. She's a genius. She's also the winemaker behind Bayer Wines, super popular wines here in Washington State. Chenin Blanc is a variety maybe that, you know, when you go to the grocery store and you kind of get the sense that, like, I don't know what to get, and Chardonnay, I don't know. I'm over it, and I feel like I'm spending too much money anyway. Here's the thing, you're probably not spending too much money if you buy Chenin Blanc. It is such an underappreciated grape varietal, and it's so good. For those of you that like sweet wine, you can vinify this with the sweetness still in it. This is gonna be dry, and which means no sugar, no sweetness, and most Chenin Blancs will be dry. And here's what's fun about it. Chenin brings some of the acidity that Sauvignon Blanc does, but for me, when I drink Sauvignon Blanc, this is why I like the beauty. Sometimes it's just too strung out. It's too acidic. And while it has those fruit notes, it just doesn't have like that round, easy mouthfeel. And Chenin Blanc does. Sometimes they call it a waxy or a lanolin mouthfeel, which is not appetizing. Even worse, Chenin Blanc is known to like have sort of a wet wool characteristic. Don't let me scare you. You just put it in your glass and find out what's going on. This is like an easier drinking Sauv Blanc, and it is awesome, and she crushes it. She is, she's one of the heroes of the Washington wine world.
Erica's watching.
No, shut up. No way. Oh, now I'm so embarrassed. Did I say the right? Ask her if I said the right things. We're gonna fact check. You know, the debates are on tonight. Can we fact check what I just said? I want to make sure that I'm accurate if we've got her on. Did I screw it up at all?
Well, there's a 10-second delay. So we gotta catch up.
We're topping this.
All right, here we go.
We're topping this with a little mint and a little extra cheese.
We like a little extra mint on
each
top,
plate.
and we like a little extra cheese on top. That's our preference. But one of the things is make sure you have a little tomato on top for the color. I love that.
Did you guys see the kids around?
Erica Orr.
Are you kidding?
Erica Orr says,
is
you
good
nailed it
there.
100%. Lisa Bear is also watching. They said
I
very,
should've brought
very
up
well
Lisa.
done.
That's
There's
my
also
fault, yeah.
lots of crouton questions.
Yeah.
Do
Can we
you have a
talk
favorite
about-
bread? How do you make croutons?
Well, at home, I like to use a baguette, but you can use country white if you want. Cut it up in cubes, like ½ inch or so. Butter, and then you use spices like oregano and thyme.
You toss it in melted butter.
Yeah, I toss it in melted butter with
olive oil.
thyme and oregano. Well, I prefer butter.
I
He
prefer
prefers.
Okay, let's do it in butter.
And you just put it in the oven for like 15 minutes at 325
Here's
and
the fun
toast
thing.
them.
Like, honestly,
Wow.
do this at home. Make croutons.
Yeah, it's great.
You can't imagine
The
how much
kids
fun
like
you're gonna
making
have.
croutons.
No, here's the thing with croutons. It's bread and butter,
Can't
right?
go
So you're
wrong.
winning off from the get-go, and then you take any seasoning that you have,
that
literally all out, and you just grind them up in there. Or you just buy that cheap Italian seasoning in the
I'm
store
gonna put
that's
it
so
all
good.
in
Let's
here.
just all be honest, we love it. And so you take your croutons, chop them up. You can use old bread because we're about to soak it with butter anyway. Butter, seasoning, spread them out on a sheet tray and throw them in the oven until they're irresistibly like the right amount of crunchiness for you. They're gonna keep cooking a little bit, so pull them out early, let it cool. Okay, anyway, we make our own croutons here and we sent some to you in the packet. And if you don't have them, don't buy this. There's lots probably good in the store, but honestly, they're so fun and easy to make. And it'll just fill your entire house with happy smelling goodness, which is what you need this time. Okay, I wanna show one thing while we're tossing, just because I think this is super
I'm
important.
setting the table.
Oh, thanks, Mom. So, John, maybe we can get the sort of the top-down camera angle, but the tossing is a
Can we
big
see
deal,
the table?
and I want to show you why. A common issue with tossing salad is that we get so excited, we fill the bowl up, and it's massive, right? And so, obviously, at the table, this is not going to fly in a fine dining room. So, the way that I was taught to toss was that you hold these salad tongs like you would ping pong paddles. So you don't hold them like this, which is kind of the American way, but more the Asian preference for ping pong paddling, I'm understood, is like this, and it's gonna make you like such a better tosser. So this is a really important move. Hold them like this, come around the bowl and scoop underneath and lift up. In this way, I'm always taking from the outside of the bowl and I'm putting it in the middle. If we toss to the middle, where is this gonna go? The only place it can go is to the outside, and we're risking it's gonna go outside of the bowl. So again, we're taking from the outside and we're lifting up from the bottom. Salads like avalanches, little things, big things, what is it? Little things go to the bottom, big things stay on top. So you gotta like figure that out. But in an avalanche, you wanna be on top. Okay.
I just want to say that you have no idea how unique it is to have in this room 3 generations of Canlis, us, Mark, and we've got William,
Lucy,
Peter, and Lucy over there in the
Peter,
wings.
George,
And Clementine comes in and out. She's younger, so she...
Shepherd was in here, a little bit
Yeah.
of the newest
yeah.
Canlis.
It's pretty neat for us to
and
be
they
here.
all like Canlis salad.
Oh my gosh! And they've eaten more Canlis salads than any of you have, and almost than any of us have. They love it.
It is great.
It is a.
If we have leftover dressing, how long will it last in the fridge?
Several days.
Several
in the
days.
fridge,
Oh,
easily.
like in our house?
Even a week.
3 weeks.
Okay.
And Mark, you're gonna love this question. Where'd we get that bowl?
That too is a one of a kind. This is a koa wood bowl.
Oh wait, that one is. I didn't bring the koa. Sorry.
This is
wait,
koa.
hold on.
No,
Oh, wait.
no, it's.
I can't tell.
I think
It's, no, it's Mahoney.
yes.
Yeah. So originally,
I think that one is Koa.
because Peter was in Hawaii, he really got into the wooden bowls. Traditionally, we would use a Hawaiian or Polynesian calabash bowl. This is in the style of a calabash. A calabash is going to stay really flat on the bottom and curve up at the end. They are very difficult to make. They also require large pieces of wood, and koa is a really a special wood. We had Mr. Mahoney. We commissioned these, and he does all the bowls here at the restaurant. He's a remarkable artist, and it's pretty hard to do them really thinly. I think that a salad bowl is something that should just live out in your kitchen, and it's like a musical instrument. It's just something you love to stare at. And all of the equipment that you use in your kitchen, my goodness, if you fall in love with it in the store and it gets you to cook, that's the right one. It doesn't matter what pan you love or what bowl you love or what knife you love. It's the one that calls to you and speaks to you and just
I
gets
said,
you
"Take
cooking.
me, take me."
That's what matters. So in our family, you have to know we have this at every holiday, at every, I don't know, I feel like we're eating this all the time. And we do have the luxury of not having to make all the ingredients from scratch. It is a common request in this kitchen to say, can you send us home with all the ingredients? But we do toss it at home. We all argue over who makes the best one.
Yes.
Mom, you like to throw Dungeness crab.
Oh, I love Dungeness
And yours?
crab. It's one of my
And-
favorite things.
And avocado.
Oh,
if you want.
put
and
an avocado in it.
Last night I made
Yes.
one. We put an avocado
You
in it.
can't
Yeah.
goof it up. I think one of the things about our family that we're learning is that this is a piece of our history. It's a piece of our legacy here, and we are continuing to understand it and to explore it and to apply it and to pass it down. And that is a really on-the-nose metaphor, I think, for so many things in life. So, Mom and Dad, it's
you,
really
son.
cool to have you, adjunct professors here at Canlis Community College.
You did so good. They were so nervous.
They were,
so
which is
nervous.
so weird for us because as
I
kids,
went
they always had it all
catatonic
put
about
together.
30 minutes before we started.
But we just want to say thank you so much for this concludes. We are halfway
get the
through
grandchildren in?
the 2020 fall semester of Canlis Community College. We've got 3 more weeks of classes, and then we're going to go into a scavenger hunt. It might have some 1950s menus coming back. We don't know. Those are kind of fun games we like to play.
T-shirt.
Maybe you may be one of those. We are still figuring it out, but we're so looking forward to being a part of the next semester with you. Thank you for supporting
learning
us.
so much,
and,
Mark.
Look at.
yeah, have a great night. Enjoy dinner.
Tuesday
Tuesday we'll be here.
with something.
All right. Does anyone know what class we're doing on Tuesday? It's kind of one day at a time around here. It's pretty hard to figure out, but we're getting there.
All right.
Thanks.
Are we?
I don't know. I never know when the cameras are off. I just sort of-
Okay.